Do you find that your beats are missing that like special something, the thing that takes them to that next level? Well, today I'm going to show you 5 insanely powerful techniques that will instantly transform your beats from basic to extraordinary. Let's dive straight into it. So I've got this initial idea here, which is like a really basic boom bap beat. So really simple, a nice little vibe, but it is quite generic at this point. So the first technique, which honestly took me years to learn, was adding texture. The way I think about texture is like a filter or color correction when you're watching a TV show or movie. And the best thing about texture is that you can get it from anywhere. Most sample packs that you get these days will have some sort of vinyl crackle, some sort of Foley sound, something like this. So all I would do in this instance is just EQ out a lot of the frequencies, turn down the volume quite a lot. You don't want it to be prominent at all. You want it to just be sitting there underneath everything like a foundation. And now if we check it out. And of course you can mess around with it to taste. And of course, if you don't have texture sounds, you can just use a plugin like RC20 or Cymatics Origin. And if worse comes to worse, you can just get your own mic, stick it out the window, just record like the cars going by, the trees, the crickets, things like that. The second technique is something that I love to do in all my beats, and it's a tip that I actually picked up from The Alchemist, one of my all-time favorite producers, and it's adding imperfections and small details. I like to think of them as like Easter eggs, like really small details in the background that a lot of the time you don't even notice the first time you hear a beat, and it can be literally anything. So as an example in this beat, first of all I found this random sound. And that's literally it. I'm not going to put it in again until like 20 or 30 seconds later. Let's add in another like little beep sound. The more random and sparse it is, the better. And in fact, if you're brave, you could even have it just happen once in the entire beat. Let's also try this random horror pad. Now this leads me on quite nicely to the third technique, which is surprising the listener. And usually this can be done in terms of the arrangement, things like transitions or unexpected dropouts and things like that. So an example would be here in the drum beat where we had like a really basic kick, which is only actually playing twice every bar, but having it play randomly twice at the end of a bar, midway through a verse or something like that. You could do another favorite thing of mine, which is having a drop out in the drums just literally midway through a bar in the middle of a verse. So having little moments like that will keep the listener on their toes, and it also works wonders for rappers that want to use your beat, because that's the perfect moment for emphasis on their lyrics, and they can actually write to those gaps and dropouts, if that makes sense. Now the next technique is something that you hear in all different genres, and is something you absolutely have to be doing in your beats. You want to layer your melodies with different instruments playing the exact same thing. The amount of options this gives you when it comes to arranging, when it comes to sorting out your hook, and you need to have like a lot more emphasis on your melody, it's an absolute game changer. In this case we got this bell layer, which is just a sample with a halftime on. And I want to double this up with a piano. So I'm literally just going to drag and copy this into the piano layer, and we'll click melody. Going to add the halftime, which is the same as the bell layer. If we play them together, one pan to the left, one pan to the right. You can hear it's taking that bell melody to a whole nother level now, just making it a lot more spooky, eerie, even sounding a bit more detuned because of the piano that's layered with it. And also now when it comes to arranging, we can mute the bell for different sections and have just the piano, and that gives a lot more versatility to the entire arrangement. Now the final technique is something I've been doing forever, and it's one of my favorite things when it comes to making music, and that is telling a story. So this can be achieved in a few different ways. First thing that comes to mind is automation, whether it's something like reverb or distortion or even EQ. Having the automation that slowly gets more complex or brings something in more as the beat goes on. So one example of this is I've added in this jazz drum break to be layered with the drums. It sounds like this. And to make it have that sort of building effect, the two things I can do is automate the EQ. So you're just having it filter in slowly. Or if you want to do it on volume instead, you can just automate the gain. So another way you can do this is within drum patterns. A lot of the time when it comes to kick and snare patterns, I like to add in more kicks as the verse goes on. Anything that just adds more of a build up and just slowly increases tension until you can release it at the final drop, hook, outro, whatever. So those are the 5 techniques that can instantly take your beats from boring to brilliant. Anyways, thanks for watching, and if you want to see a video on how to overcome beat block, check out this video right here.